Welcome, family, to our kickoff. More so than just the reunion. That's the focus now, but we'll be doing engagement over the course of the next 6 months in preparation for the reunion. And then we'll be actually asking you guys in the larger family website what other information they'd like to hear and see from the committee. So and administrators of the website as well. But thank you for taking the time for joining today. Truly appreciate it and appreciate your time. We have this as a social happy hour, but what I'll do is I'll start this out with a focused presentation. And hopefully this will give you information to ground you around the upcoming reunion so that you can begin your travel planning. As we know, that's really the most important. That is the key reason why we want to roll this out now, to give you time to be able to plan depending on where you're coming from. So I think the first thing I want to do is kick off and let you know who's hosting this. Come on. So this is the reunion committee, and we have been actually together since, some of us have been together longer, but definitely since 2019. And then we added members on. And we have some honorary members, of course. But at the end of the day, this team has been together for about the last 6 years, trying to help continue the legacy of our family. So what we're going to do is actually introduce ourselves. For those that are on the line, I will say Artelia, the fourth picture from Portland, is likely unable to join us this evening. But we want to introduce us to you because we are really your liaisons to help you get information, to understand the region, and ask any questions around the governance of the Hitchye-Hytche family. So I am Kelly Hytche, and we want you to also follow this order of introduction and put it in the chat. In the chat, we would like to know your name. We would also like to know the next thing. Of the tree branches that exist within our family, and our branches are our elders under George Papa, I am from Roosevelt and his wife Mildred. So Uncle Roosevelt and Aunt Mildred were my grandparents. And the leaf that I fall from is my mom, Janice Hytche, the daughter, one of the daughters of Roosevelt and Mildred Hytche. And I am the board chair for our team. But I also come from or live in Princeton, New Jersey. I'm an original Detroiter. That's where I grew up. But I currently reside on the East Coast. There's not too many of us out here. And we welcome you. So I will turn it over to Brittany to introduce herself.
Hi guys, I am Brittany Kirkland. My tree branch is Roosevelt and Mildred Hytche. My tree leaf is Edwina Kirkland, she was my mom, and I am the marketing and social media chair. Good to see you.
And I'm Sabrina Walker. I am from the tree branch of Murdy and Sherman Parker. And my mother was Roselle, which was the daughter of Murdy. And I am the family liaison. And I am from Flint, Michigan, but I live in Saginaw now. Natalie?
Well, right before Natalie, I did want to kind of continue on.
Oh, do Artelia, okay.
To Artelia. So you guys, Artelia is she's our wisdom on our team. She actually resides in Portland, Oregon. She's originally, of course, from Tallahassee. She is of the tree branch Aunt Willie Mae Hytche Rogers. And then she is her own leaf, of course. She has her son Trent out there in Oregon with her, but she is our family album lead, trying to capture a visual pictorial of our history as well. And I'll turn it over to Natalie.
I think Natalie is that the iPhone? Is that her? Because she might not be. We got
Introduce your wife for us.
Okay, I will introduce your wife. We gotta. There's literally right over there is it's like 7, 8 kids running around. It's bonkers in this house right now. Let's see. So Natalie Moore and Natalie Moore and Rashad Moore. We are from the branch. Oh, here's Natalie right here. Okay, she's on the phone. All right, you good? Well, okay, she's okay. And Mudda is my grandmother, or that would be Catherine Ain't sister. You know, she's got a bunch of names. And then of course Janice is my mother.
With me?
Yeah, but we can hear you though. You gotta turn
And
that down.
Janice, we know as Pee Wee.
Oh yeah, yes, for certain. That would
Thank
be
you.
Pee-wee. My bad.
Your mom. But Natalie is a critical member of our team. She joined us. We don't see her as an in-law. She is family. Love her.
That's right. You can't hear. There you go.
Okay. And anyway, we love her to death. But one of the key things that she did for us, which actually got her on our team during COVID, she did an excellent presentation, really leveling out what COVID was at the time. And she has stayed on as our medical advisor. We also have another partner. Danny is on the line. Danny was a part of our medical team back in 2022. You know, we'll see Danny as an ad hoc member. And if Danny ever wants to join the core team, she is welcome. But we appreciate our medical advice. And for those of you who attended the 2022, you know, we actually had a medical lecture and it was really appreciated. So with that, that will continue. We'll do some type of educational series as part of the reunion for our family. But I thank all of the committee members for all their support and effort. And again, having these names can help reach out and DM us directly on social media. I'm less on social media, so please actively use the family Facebook. One of us will get back to you, or at least filter your question through the committee and try to address it. So thank you, committee members. Okay, so, oh, sorry. One of the reasons why we wanted to do this reunion is to really help level set the history of our family, in the sense that, let's just start with the baseline. As we said, we come from tree branches and there are leaves that fall from those branches. Our family tree, when we're talking about those under George Papa specifically, and then we have in fact increased the footprint of our reunion to include members of his brother's family as well, which is why you see the HYCHE represented in our t-shirts and members of their family as well. And we would eventually like to expand and better understand their history so we can blend the two. But the way this has worked since 1910, George Papa came to Oklahoma in the early 1900s. And it's interesting, recently I spent the extended time in Oklahoma and I was looking at the incorporation of Oklahoma, which, don't quote me, could be around 1904. So say if that was the case, George Papa came to Oklahoma shortly thereafter. So our footprint as a family in Oklahoma goes the legacy of Oklahoma as a state. And I think we should be aware of that history. We've been there since the beginning. But in that, the reunions likely started, given, the number of kids he had at the early part, in the sense of Pinky, Buddy, Eddie, Pearlie. You had a lot of us on this call are from the latter parts of the tree. See my grandfather Roosevelt, you see Murdy, you see Willie Mae, Aunt Willie Mae. So when you think about it, so when you think about it, he had a lot of kids And he began the process of creating a culture of family reunion. So at the end of the day, our family reunion started in the early 1900s. I mean, that's in itself a very fascinating history point around our family. Yes, there were a volume of kids who you could say that really makes sense, but as the older kids started getting married and having other kids, this was a really key way for him to blend and keep that connection and legacy going. So when you think about it, let's assume, and we have for all of our branding, we've assumed our family reunion started in 1910. That is 115 years. This family legacy has been going on. Now, times have changed. Of these branches that you see, families are so much larger and deeper. And we do want to get an understanding of how deep we go as a family. How many generations exist for our family? How many numbers of actual Hytches exist? Where are we? But the only way for us to really facilitate a connection, especially as we started leaving Oklahoma and going away, is the reunion. The reunions are our way to reconnect to our family history, to each other, and then to use that energy, those memories to carry us forward until we meet again. So, although he created and wanted to keep, and I believe asserted to keep, that his kids keep the reunion alive, now it's up to the great grandkids and the great great grandkids, the great 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 grandkids to try to keep this alive. And for those of you who have been here, I have come to the reunion all of my life. I know Sabrina has come to everyone all of her life. You're familiar with this picture at the old house. You're familiar with this tree. You were part of when our cousin Jenny would sit us down and do classroom history on the Hytches. That oral history was very important at that time, but you only got that connection as well as getting to know and creating friendships and relationships and memories with other family members and embracing the in-laws and the kids that. So it was meant to be, and has always been very intergenerational, but our efforts to keep it alive for future years and generations, it's up to us. And I think we have to have the challenge of trying to figure out in today's society, how does that work? How do we do it, given how broad we are, how deep we are, and also in a very different culture? So those are the type of questions that from a reunion committee perspective, we would like your feedback on. We know many have not ever come to a reunion. And we want to engage those individuals. But also coming to a reunion is also now an event. It becomes a part of your vacation schedule. So you have to make decisions and choices, and we recognize that. We just want everyone to keep in mind that if it started in 1910, how long can we keep it going? And I think keeping it up for 115 years, we've been through a pandemic. If you didn't get to see the virtual pandemic reunion, please go out there and see it on our YouTube channel. But the whole point is we were trying to be creative with the current environment, and we're going to have to continue to do that as part of our effort to honor what George Papa started for our family and to keep it going. I think that would be a huge loss in honor of the history, but also a huge loss for us as families and how much energy and our relationships matter to one another, and also getting to know each other. There are many in Generation X, which is what I represent, and the millennials and below, and you have all the ones coming up with Generation Z and everything. They should know each other. Kids today, millennial parents should have kids running around, hopefully the way we did. So the next couple of slides really tries to show the commitment thus far that family members have had to try to keep this going. So for those of you hopefully have visited, are aware, you know, we are originally from Alabama, Tuscaloosa, and George Papa came to Tallahassee. Tallahassee is a Black town that was established in 1850, and it's one of the oldest towns on record. It is still a town today where many of our relatives are, but that's where the early stages of the reunion was. That's where George Papa's big house, which is still within the family today in there. So Tallahassee is where our roots begin. And we were able to, and if you look and you're on the family page, you can go to the photos and you can see pictures of the current reunion as well as some of the older ones. So I was able to gather, and the years that represent here are all in the 70s. Some of them are the same reunion or different ones, but at the end of the day, these pictures, if you don't know, and hopefully you do and can recognize some of your direct relatives here, these are members of the branches. These are our elders who were at the reunion with their brothers and sisters, continuing on the legacy of our reunions. And that's what now we are charged with. Not just the committee, but all of us have to really look hard at how we can continue the responsibility of keeping the Hytche family together as a unit and trying to connect minimally. Just once every 3 years, we have to plan for this trip. And that's what's important. And hopefully as a committee, we're giving you enough information that in an early enough time that you can plan for, but we want to see you. And so somebody's taking our picture now that they'll be looking at it, you know, 60, 70 years from now saying, oh, that's what they were doing back in 2025, or for the years that you were a part of some of the group pictures. We really started, even though back in the 70s, they did take these pictures of the elders. That was a lot of what they captured. But around 2008, when we did the one in Tulsa, we did a big picture, and that then became one of the key standards of the reunion. So this presentation will be posted. We leverage these pictures a lot. And I'll bring them back after I complete as part of the happy hour or the more social section. We'll have this up and available talk. So as I was saying, you know, in honor and really reflective of what our elders were doing. So these are all the individual brothers and sisters at different parts. We then started the idea of one group picture really representing the reunion and showing how everyone showed up. And I think that was a very important piece of our new framework. And if you look at it, so the first picture is from 2008, and you may have been there. That was in Tulsa, hosted by many of our elders, one of which hopefully is on the phone. Eloise, are you on the phone? Can she hear us? Ronald?
She should be able to hear. I don't know if she can unmute.
Well, we do on the phone every
All right, we're unmuted now.
Oh, okay. Hi, Eloise. Eloise, for those of you who came in 2022, Eloise was our keynote speaker. She gave a tremendous and a beautiful speech, which we have recorded, and we will release it to the family in preparation for this year. But she did an eloquent talk around George Papa, the family, because she was young at that time. And she is right now recorded our oldest elder at that leaf level. And we just want to say hello to Eloise. But Eloise, what do you think of when you think about the reunion? Both the ones that you grew up going to as a kid and the ones that you brought your kids to as an adult.
Well, I grew up, I guess, I'm about the oldest living person that we have now,
Yes, you are.
living, far as the family is concerned. And I grew up with Papa from an infant up till he passed on. And I don't think I missed the family reunion because they started out down at the big house. Everybody brought their food and we just had a good time. It was just on Sundays at that time. And we ventured out and started going to hotels and resorts and things. So it's been, all I can say, we had a grandfather. I had a grandfather. You all had a grandfather and a great grandfather that was a trooper.
And that is where it's most important for us to take that on as a responsibility to keep it going. And as Eloise was speaking, you know, remember it did start out as a big picnic. I remember when my grandfather, Uncle Roosevelt to everyone else, hosted it at our house in Tallahassee. It was the best thing. I think I was like 8 or 9, but it literally was the best thing to host and have everyone come. And but it our family is so large. The idea of staying at a picnic level did not work. And what they did, the elders, but really the least of our family created the model of putting us in lodges. So many of us remember Weston Lodge and Blue Lodge. Those lodges became our experience as kids, and how the reunion worked. So we kind of still had a picnic on occasion, but at the end of the day, we were at that lodge and Hytches everywhere. And so the lodge culture, or having an event-based culture, really didn't start now. It started back in the 80s. And that was the smartest thing that our elders did because our family was just so large. So therefore, it moved with the time and complemented the reality. We were large, people needed space, we wanted a bigger agenda, you know, we had our talent shows and things like that. So we want to continue and respect that, those ideas that they came up with, but they do have to be modernized, and we've evolved. So we've gone from lodges to being a part of hotels. And so as you can see in Tulsa, we were at one of the hotels there, and then we went to St. Louis. Now, one of the key things that many may or may not know is most of the reunions have always been in Oklahoma. If my dogs bark, I do apologize. And so with that said, we did say after the elders passed away, would we move it? And we did. We went to St. Louis. We have gone to Atlanta. We went to Portland. That is definitely more of an uplift. As you can see with St. Louis, we had a tremendous amount of people show up, which was great. It was a great turnout to have travel. Some of us already traveled to Oklahoma. So really the challenge was, well, let's go to a different city. How difficult is that? So we did Atlanta, we did do St. Louis, and this was a great photo to show the commitment of the family to show up. Then we went back to a lodge. In 2014, we actually went back to a lodge that we had done early on as a youngster. For me, was the what was the lodge? It was out in Sequoia. It escapes me, but with that lodge, we hosted something. In 2014, we had a great turnout. As you can see, we had high volume of turnouts from year to year to year. Again, every 3 years. Because of our high volume of people in our family, we know it's a burden to try to do this every year. Some families within the branches may meet every year casually, but the more formal, planned out event space event is every 3 years. And then we did get interrupted in our every 3 years. So we had not gotten interrupted until COVID. And that's when we had the virtual one online. And we were committed once things opened up to host the reunion. It was a little bit more intimate in the sense of the people, since everyone was regrouping from COVID, but we had a great turnout. But we appreciate coming out and spending the weekend with us. Be it you local, and you may or may not come. You know, you may not be able to stay at the hotel, but if you're local, then you come every day and you participate in all the activities. That's what's important. What's important is to come and be a part of the engagement. But we also recognize that it is a heavier lift when you do have to travel from out of town. And we do appreciate that. So these are some of the key pictures, and we're hoping that for 2025, you know, we get an equal turnout as we have in the past. And we appreciate you in advance if you are able to commit and come.
Can we also visited Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where I started.
That's right. We did go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, hosted by the Hytches, the HYCHE. And they gave us a history of George Papa. They showed us his land where he definitely owned, where he had a little store. And then he migrated from Alabama to Tallahassee. So you have Atlanta, St. Louis, Alabama, and Portland have been our out of town reunion. But we did make a decision, though, and I just want to be clear, to put all of the reunions, big reunions, back in Oklahoma. That was for logistics, and we also created a concept in the early 90s called the cousin reunion. And they were to complement each other. So I want to be clear is that you still have the big reunions. Those are in Oklahoma. And the big reunions, and these are some of the t-shirts from the old reunions. As you can see, the one from Fontainebleau, then the other one from 1991, and then one from 1994. That is family focused, which is what our agenda will be this upcoming weekend. Connections, making connections, getting to know one another. It's intergenerational in the connections. We really do want to nurture, and we really do want to ask those who have young kids, preteens, teenagers to join us, because it helps connect your kids to the family, and that's what's going to keep it going for another 115 years. It is every 3 years, as I've mentioned. It is hosted and organized by the reunion committee, and that's very important. We take on the burden of planning it, negotiating with the event space, deciding on different things. But with that, we own that. So you don't have that burden. Just you need to pay a registration fee. You show up and you have a great time. That's all. So there's nothing that is turnkey for you in attending, and we bear the burden of planning it and making sure it comes off smoothly. Really being here for you. We have done some things to update and really evolve. So online tools have become our friend. So many of you who were part of the reunions in the past, we used to pay a registration, put in a check. You may even pay on site, and the committee would take your money. They would try to inquire, what part of the branches you're from and things like that. You buy your t-shirt, you would pick up your t-shirt. We don't do any of that anymore. Beginning with the virtual committee and going forward, which is where our cousin Brittany Kirkland is key, as a member of the millennial generation, has brought us forward on technology. So all of our registration is online. There is no cash payment to us. And we would ask that you use the registration links, which I'll show you at the end. Everything is there. We ask you key questions. You're able to register for all of your family members, and then you pay. And we then have your registration captured. We have everything we need to know about you, which includes everything about you, everything about your children, even any death that may have happened, because we do honor our relatives who have transitioned on. So this online tool has been critical and beneficial to us. it gives us information to help us understand who are members of our family and where they from. So we do ask you to take the time to fill it all out, because that's information for us as family to understand where we are, where you fit, you know, how many descendants and things like that. We haven't gotten there yet. We've only used it in this last 2022, and it was very successful. And we hope for people who attended, it was easier than maybe if we were trying to collect money and things like that. There is an expected larger attendance. Oh, let me go back to something. T-shirts. All T-shirts are ordered online. So the middle shirt right here is our new thing. Roots and Branches, a legacy across generations. All reunions have a thing. All. And this is our thing for this year. And it's also, the T-shirts is what color? We are dark green and kind of like white with the words, and but really dark green and yellow. So, and with the white tree. So this is our emblem, and for this reunion, this is our theme for this reunion. This is the T-shirt, and on the back of it represents the tree that is always represented. The tree that I showed earlier is the same tree, and if you're part of 2022, that's the same tree. We do have, you know, we order online, have a family store. We'll talk more about that in future meetings, but at the end of the day, or online, but we have a family store. So we give you the link directly to the reunion shirt, which is what you'll need to purchase in advance. And we want to say that, give yourself lead time so you purchase it, because it has to get delivered to your house and you have to bring it. So that's very different. We will not have any T-shirts on site. And we have both a youth shirt and an adult shirt. And I will also say, if people are concerned on size, we don't have 4X, but the 3X was very, very large. So all of the shirts fit comfortably for any size. So we would ask that if you needed something special, reach out to us, one of the committee members or myself, and we will help you. But we do think the way we designed the shirts, we did not have an issue in 2022 with anyone. So we're thinking we went with the same vendor, and hopefully it'll work out. But definitely do the online. So what we're asking for is that if you're ready to pay for registration, register now. If you're ready to get your T-shirt, you're welcome to get it now. We have more than enough inventory, so we should be okay for any size. And then the last thing, of course, is the event space. We do host it in a dedicated event space. In 2022, we went to Osage Casino in Tulsa. It's a bigger property, but they had most recently, since the 3 years that we went in 2022, they did open up a new space. And I'll talk about that. We're going to the Bartisville, Oklahoma, Osage Casino. So if you want to get your casino on and family, this is the weekend for you. But that also is a part of the big reunion. That formal space, that focused agenda, and then in part of that, you do get food, beverage, and some entertainment and engagement provided, which I'll talk about on the next slide. So that really differentiates the big reunion. And that's why you want to come to the big reunion, because that's where your larger family footprint will be. That's where we're really focusing on family and trying to bring people in. So that's where your memories are created. Hopefully new relationships are created, and that then continues from reunion to reunion. Now, the second part of this that was started in the early 90s with some members of the Leafs, some first cousins got together and started creating something called a cousin reunion. The cousin reunion was a way to go see a family member who hosts it. You host it. You host it in the way that you at least formulate what you want people to do for the weekend, like you were hosting friends for the weekend, and you want to show them your city. So what was important was around profiling the city of our relatives, because we spread around so much. And the cities the places that you see up here represented: Portland, Oregon, Michigan. And in Michigan, we have both Saginaw, Michigan, Flint, Michigan at the time, Detroit, Michigan relatives who all got together and you know, had that entire event. Hampton, Virginia, for those of you who may have recalled, we were in Hampton. We did also go to Virginia Beach as well, and also Norfolk. So it was beyond just Hampton, and that's the whole point, is to really show and profile the history of that city, to allow new family members who may have never gone there to have a moment of a event, a travel event, but with family. And I hosted New Jersey and took family members into New York City. And then we had, of course, Washington, D.C., by the Moors, who hosted at that point. And then Brittany hosted for Las Vegas. And then I don't think he's on the phone. Stephen and his wife hosted most recently Houston, Texas. And now we're a little bit more better at advertising. So with Brittany in Las Vegas, we created the flyer and we had the Houston flyer. And we had a great time. I don't know if we posted as many pictures as we should for the cousin thing, but you know, both. Brittany took us to different museums. But again, there's a difference in the cousin reunion. It's almost like a weekend pop-up travel moment where the person who says, hey, you guys can come to my city, they're volunteering. We as a committee support them. It's also every 3 years, but it's a 1 year after the cousin. So this same weekend, third weekend in July is our weekend for family. So the third week in July in 2026, we will have another cousin reunion. We can't confirm where, because what happens is at the reunion, people may raise their hand and say, hey guys, you can come to my city. Me and my wife or husband have committed to hosting. That's what's important, because you want the volunteer to know they're supported. They want to do it. We don't want anyone forced to do it. And if no one raises their hand, then we just don't do it. So that's a much more casual reunion moment. But the host does outline activities. So I think that's also important, because they are trying to show their city. But there's no registration. It's not as formal as the big reunion. You bear the cost to get there, to travel within the city for the activities that you may do. It is just as if you added that to your travel vacation spot. But it is only a weekend, Thursday, and you leave on a Sunday. So it's not long on the bearer of the host or those attending. But hopefully some of the places that we go to in the future, you'll want to participate. That's very important, because that's how we're sort of expanding and keeping that alive. So if you think about it, this was the early 90s that they started the cousin reunion. Let's see how long and far we can take the cousin reunion going forward as well. But it also gives us a chance to get to know each other in a very different space versus, you know, in Oklahoma at a family reunion. So that is the difference. So our reunion commitment is a big reunion and a cousin reunion, assuming we have someone who raises their hand and wants to volunteer and host. So I hope this has been beneficial. When I finish this, we're gonna open it up for Q&A or comments, so don't worry. And this will be posted out on the family Facebook page, and the video will be on our YouTube page. Okay, so the big reunion. This is the big reunion, 2025, at the Osage Hotel and Casino in Bartersville, Oklahoma. Again, our theme is Roots and Branches, a legacy across generations. This is where our focus is around intergenerational connection. So we really want our elders and anyone in Gen X and above with grandkids, try to get your kids to bring their grandkids, bring their kids, and get the cousins all together. And even have a connection within your own family branch at the reunion. But the more that we can get as far as attendees, we're rebuilding what sort of cracked a little bit, but that was due to COVID. And now we want to be, you know, back on track. And I think our target should be to keep this alive for another 115 years. Oh. So Oh, sorry. One of the most important things is, and we got a lot of questions in 2022 around the cost structure of the reunion. So, as I mentioned, the big reunions are all formalized. We have moved from a picnic to event space as early as the 80s. And with that event space, we do have commitment. You negotiate a contract. And for us to be able to give you services during the weekend, we need to do that and negotiate that with the hotel or lodge or wherever we go. So if you look at the 2022 registration, these fees for a 3-year period, given what's happening in our country, are not that far above that. So to the left, you see the online registration. And I want to clarify, you do not add a 1.5% fee, only $1.50. That's an error on my part. So as you check out, so say if it's for 2 adults, you'll pay $300, but you'll only pay $303. So that was an error on my part. So only $1.50 will be added as you check out that you will pay. So we have the cost for registration at 16 through the ages of 16 and 79 at $150. This then provides you X amount that I'm going to go. For ages 4 years to 15 years, it is $95, which is also not a significant increase from 2022 to now. Now, one of the things that we wanted to do, and we have done before, anyone years and below is free. But we also want to respect our elders. Anyone who attends with 80 years and above, their registration. And, you know, honoring our elders, some people may think I'm 70, I'm an elder, but honoring our elders is important for us as a family. So that is something that is new that will continue on as we move forward as a reunion committee. So that's the registration. Now you can ask the question. We got this question. What am I paying? Okay. So we do have dedicated casino space, which most casinos and hotels have conference rooms. What happens is they actually earmark a section of their conference room for us. So we will have a dedicated conference room all weekend where all of our events will take place. And that's important. We're not running around. We're not telling you Thursday meet here, Friday meet here, Saturday meet here, Sunday bye. That is not us. That's unacceptable. You have a focused place you go. You'll have a table that you can check in at, and then you'll go into a space, and that's our space for the weekend. And we do have to leave that space after midnight. However, we do have it all day long throughout the entire weekend. And that is where everything will happen. But in addition to having meeting space, there is text support. Now, if we want to talk to you, we don't want to yell at you. I might need a microphone. We may need a speaker system. So a part of the event space is always going to be the actual room or rooms, as well as the section of the hotel that they give us. So we'll have the lobby the lobby area to our conference room. We have the biggest conference room that particular weekend, so to accommodate all of us. And then any tech support that we may need throughout the weekend, because we do have presentations. We will have karaoke. So those type of things we need to support us. What you do also get is food and beverage within the weekend. So when you arrive on Thursday, that's really when you check in. You'll be on your own. A lot of times Thursday ends up being a group go out and you pay on your own, but people may organize. So where we find a good place, I know last time in Tulsa, a lot of people went to the soul food place that everybody wanted to go to. That's important. So that's really where you're casually checking in. We'll have the event space open with music and everything, but you'll find dinner on your own because again, everyone kind of straggles in on a Thursday. But once you get to Friday, we give you a full buffet breakfast. And then we also host a meet and greet, which also includes food and beverage. So that's already there, 2 meals. The finger food is on a Friday. But at the end of the day, Friday sort of begins our activity and joint activity. And in between there, we could go off the property. Now, Saturday, we also give you a full breakfast. But at Saturday night, evening, we give you the traditional banquet. And for those of you who have been around a while, those were the formal banquet that starts in the evening. It's table set. We do have a buffet, but everything is in formal formal wear. We would have a speaker. Last year we had Eloise so eloquently talk us through the family, and a key presentation around our legacy. But at the end of the day, that is definitely a more formal event. So you want to bring your casual, you want to bring your reunion t-shirt, but then you also want to bring, your look good goods and for the banquet. So all of that is covered. And we basically hang out from Thursday to Saturday night, and then Sunday is checkout day. Your hotel, you book on your own, but we do have a discounted rate, and I'll talk through that as well. So with that, that balances what you get out of registration. So you got both the registration, which is everything included that I list here, as well as you have to buy your t-shirts, which is about $25 to $28, no matter the size, which is a good thing. But again, buy in advance. And then this is where what's free is creating new memories. And that's really where we want to advertise that is key. We know this is a cost to you, but we hope people who have attended in the past from the last, 10 or whatever, you'll see the formalness as well as the ease of attending and still having activities which you can participate in even on your own. A lot of people enjoyed the pool at Osage in Tulsa. A lot of people, got to do their gambling and everything else they wanted to do. So it was a balance. And then you get to see people you haven't seen in years or relatives you haven't seen in years. And that's what's important. So there are additional costs for the weekend. So we want to make sure that we will try to organize off-site activity. That may be a fee. So for those of you who came in 2022, went to the Tulsa Wall Street Museum, which I heard was very powerful. I did not get to go. I do want to go to the activities this season. But at the end of the day, we will try to plan out activities within Bartersville, Oklahoma. We do have to investigate a little bit more, and that's where we'll be spending our time understanding Bartersville and some of the surrounding activities that are key. And we have, as I mentioned, the discounted rate, which is down below. I'll talk about that. So what's key with the discounted rate is that we have 2 types of rooms booked, a 1-bedroom king as well as a double queen. So we have a discounted rate available to us through July 2nd of this year. You do not have to pay for your hotels just to book. There's a site and a link on our link tree, which I'll show you next, that you could go to and you can book your hotel. Each day is a slightly different cost, but you can see for the first day on a Thursday, again, you do have slightly differences on the weekend, it's $84. And then on for the double room, it's $94. So that's the difference because of the 2 beds versus the 1 bed. But after that, you get $134 for the rest of the weekend, and then $144 for the rest of the weekend. That is definitely discounted to their market price if you just kind of went on your own. Now you have to use the group rate, which I will demonstrate in the next slide. So, but you can go out there today, tomorrow, and book it with our link tree, which we'll show you. But that's what's important. When you register, you have to pay at the end of registration. So you do that when you're ready. But for the hotel, you can go out and book, and the way it's set up, pay when you leave the hotel. Okay, so you don't prepay for this rate. You're booking it, and then you pay upon leaving. And again, all of these details have to be negotiated in advance. This is not something we could just start now. So we've been in contract negotiations for the last probably 2.5 months with Osage. So that's how we get here as far as being able to hopefully offer you a full weekend at the lowest price that we can, because we have to prepay the hotel for everything that I've talked about. So your registration is helping us pay those costs. The reunion committee, all volunteers, we make no money on this. And last time we kind of broke even. So we've been breaking even. Typically what has happened in the past, at the point that Eloise was active on the committee, they would do different fundraisers to help freight some of the costs. We're in a very different environment on how to do that. Our t-shirts are part of our sort of above and beyond costs to help us pay for things as well. So just recognize we've tried to keep the costs, especially in the current economic environment, as low as we can. But at the end of the day, anything that we're able to carry over just helps in the next reunion. And all extra funds go to the big reunion, because that's where you really bear the most cost on facility and things like that. For those of you who did attend in Tulsa, this is a smaller property. It's new. It opened in the fall of 23 or 23. So it's brand new. It's smaller, further out. It's about 45 minutes from Tulsa. So it's commutable if you live in the Tulsa area, and likely not if you live broader or definitely out of state. So that's why booking your rooms is best. I have so many rooms reserved, and if the booking is more robust, then I will get more rooms. But I can't really commit to more rooms until, you know, everyone kind of goes out there and say, yeah, I'm definitely going to spend part of my vacation schedule with the family. When you go on site, you'll actually see what I show you here with the 2 rooms down below, the 1-bedroom king and the double queen. I want to be clear. They give you an average rate. Just ignore that. These are your daily rates that you're going to be charged. So if you needed to plan out your room cost, I do think the rate at the bottom is what you're going to pay. So you may travel in, that'll be airplane or you're driving. This will be the room cost along with the registration and then the t-shirt. So that is hopefully transparent, and you guys can ask questions once I get through the next slide. We'll open it up for questions. And if you wanted to know where Bartersville was, as you can see on the little map that I tried to capture, it's at the top of the state, closest to Kansas City, so, or Kansas, Wichita specifically, I believe. So as we explore activities we can do as a family, we'll be looking at both, you know, Oklahoma and Kansas, if it makes sense. So I just wanted to let you guys see where it was. I had never been to Bartersville myself in my time of coming to visit Oklahoma. So, all right, I'll move on. But, and if we need to go back to any slide, once we get to Q&A, that's okay. I just wanted to kind of get through the presentation. So what's important, and as part of moving us forward, Brittany has helped us build in technology to our process. And we have a LinkedIn link tree, which gives a summation of all of the key links for the family. I've only highlighted what you need for the reunion, which is the top 4, and the 5th one I'll talk about. But the middle, this is our link tree. We'll repost it on the family page. The liaisons will send it out. But at the end of the day, if you'll have access to this, or you can find it if you're already tech savvy, you can see our name there. You go to the link tree, that'll give you all the links for our family. That's including the family face page. And if you heard about this and you're not a part of the family face page, well, then ask to be included, send us an invite, and we'll confirm you to get in. But that's where you'll find, and it makes it much easier. So the first thing is, hopefully you went to this link to get to the happy hour. Secondly, you have the Osage room. So instead of you guys going to Osage, We built the link here, you click that. Now I want you to kind of go off to the other side. You have to, when you book a room, be very clear, you have to pick Bartersville. Once you pick Bartersville, it'll then go to a page that has this top. See where it says have a promo or group code? Our group code we put on the outside of this hotel right here. That's our code, 8412541. And once you put in that, hit enter, you have to put in your dates. Then it'll bring up the previous view that I had with the hotel room. And then you just pick and book. Again, you have to put in information, but you will not get charged. So what's important in booking the hotel is to go to the Osage link. You must pick Bartersville and you must put in our group code and the dates, which is the 17th through the 20th. You'll see that they also have rooms on the 16th. That is mainly to kind of earmark for us committee members. But if you want to come in early and come on the 16th, let me know. So then I know to increase the room. We only have 5 rooms available. So you may not have even been planning on it. But if you were, just ping me and I'll try to get extra rooms for the 16th. But at the end of the day, this is the link that's going to get you to the room. This is the link that's going to get you registered. And that's where you'll have a long questionnaire. You'll pick everything you need. And then at the end of the registration, your costs are going to come up. You'll pay that. You'll pay $1.50 for each registrant. And then you're done. And we have all your information. And we send you, I think it automatically shoots you an email. And then you order your t-shirts from a different link. Again, that goes right here, Reunion t-shirt. You can order your t-shirts right here. And this is the Reunion t-shirt. We have other things in our store. Don't worry about that right now. We will do an introduction to the store because the store is really a part of our fundraising. And that's really around the Hytche brand and some Hytche logo, things that you can have. So you order your t-shirt. And then when you actually get to the reunion, this was used very successfully in 2022. We have Slack. Everybody downloaded Slack. I think you have to need your number, but don't quote me. I'm Generation X. And I'm semi pretty good on computers, but Slack was new to me. Social media is all. And we got to talk. It gave us a localized, where are you? We needed to, the reunion committee needed to let you know, or you could text each other, call each other. It was perfect. And you could share pictures. That's where we pulled a lot of the reunion pictures and some of the activities going on. So we have a Slack channel, but it'd be more robust at the reunion. And we will remind you when you check in. But I would say definitely be comfortable with using Slack, because it was critical in just letting people know what's going on, where people were, and just really sharing memories. That was good. And that was also helpful for those who could not attend. They got on Slack and they could see what was going on. So I think we will actively use that again this year. So our key message is to get to our Linktree, family Linktree, and start pressing these buttons from registration, if you're ready to purchase now, to the booking your hotel, which you can do for free. You got to put in information, but you won't get charged. To getting your reunion t-shirt, putting it away, but making sure when you get on that plane or get in that car, you bring it. And then again, Slack, we will probably activate and use it as a way to send out information, but really it'll be the Facebook page. So we'll use, and we also have a family Instagram page. So we'll use all of our family social media to get to you. But the critical thing that we want you to do, and for you to spend time with us this evening, is great. I'm sorry, I want to go back to something. For us to get from 1910 to, I think I calculated 21 something, another 115 years, we need family members. We need family members to attend. And the only way, because we are so large, is for other family members to tell and encourage others to come. Even if they haven't come before, it's okay. We are a welcoming family. If you've never been there, we probably will, I'm kind of thinking in my head, call out the people who are there for the first time to really give them a lot of love for thanking them for coming. You know, you could be 50 years old, 55 years old, 48, 37, 32, 25, never been before. It's okay. We want to come and attend at least the big reunion. Then you can determine if you want to casually come to the cousin reunion next year. But we want you to help become bearers of information for us. And all you got to do is send out the link tree, and this presentation will be available on live, but the presentation will be out there. And people can watch it. And hopefully they'll get excited about wanting to attend. So that's really our ask of you. And to book your hotel, because if I need more ones, I'd like to know now. But at the end of the day, tell everybody so people can decide, because then this gives them enough time to put us in our summer schedule. I mean, that's really what we're asking, for you to spend a few days with us this summer. And hopefully we'll get a turnout. Last year, post-COVID, we had about 70 to 75 people. And that was great. Loved it. We thank everybody who came in 2022, because that was an uplift that people were still committed to keep the family legacy going, the tradition going. And we don't have any targets on who will show up in Bartersville, but we hope we get everybody from 2022 forward. And we're honoring those who we lost in between there. And we'll have that ask as well. That's part of the registration. If there are family members who have gone home, we want to know, because we do honor them as well. It's part of it. So, I know I've been talking a lot. No idea what the time is. But I want to say thank you. We, the committee, want to thank you. We're committed to this. Mainly because our grandparents and we got a lot of love and energy from attending the reunion. And we want to try to replicate that for you. So we're also taking a Saturday afternoon or evening to spend with us. Thank you.